Hello, and welcome to Happy Healthy Homes. I am so grateful you're here, and this is our first episode for 2026. So, welcome, Happy New Year's, and if this is the first time you are listening to us, welcome again. I want to start the year with a very gentle question. What is the project you have been carrying on your heart, but keep telling yourself it's not the time yet? It's not time yet, but keeps nudging you. It's there. It's something you really want to do. I have been hearing that 2026 is the year of intention. And when I heard that, immediately thought of all the women I work with who already know what they want, but pause themselves before they even begin. Not just women, everyone. We know what we want, but sometimes we pause ourselves before we even start the plan. Let's give some examples. For example, when you dream about doing that bathroom renovation, I even caught myself last year on this same trap. An outdoor space you dream about for a family gathering, or a children's bedroom you wanted to update so it feels calmer and more supportive, or even a home that you want to buy one day, that dream home. And every time that dream surfaces, the same thought follows. I don't have the money yet. And that makes all of your feelings drop. If you be, yeah, you know? But today I want to talk about that story, challenge you with love, no pressure. Because after more than 20 years working in design and construction across everything from small family homes to major multi-million dollar projects, I've learned something that never changes. The project that truly change our lives doesn't start with budget. It's intention. In this episode, we are going to talk about why is starting a project with budget often keep us stuck, how clarity creates movement, and why freezing before you even explore a project sometimes is something I've done myself. We all do it. It's not just you, even me, that's a designer, a project manager, and worked with projects for so many years. Sometimes I see myself freezing because I don't have the budget yet. But then I started thinking about step by step of a project, and I was like, what am I doing? And that's what I want to talk about with you today. And if you ever felt that quiet ache of wanting more for your home, more calm, more connection, more support, but didn't know where to start, you are exactly where you need to be. Before we begin, in this podcast, feel like a deep breath in your week. I would love you to press follow and subscribe. It helps this space grow and reach more women who need these conversations, these real conversations. Alrighty, let's begin. Stay with me. 20 years in design, what 20 years in design and construction taught me? Over the years, I worked in all kind of projects. Pioneer renovations, family homes, schools, and large, very large multi-million dollar developments, including construction of schools. And here's something most people don't expect to hear. Not a single project is started with the budget. So I'll give you an example. Usually the projects start with intention. And at the government, that's called a brief. So I receive a brief, very basic brief for what the school needs. And we go and talk to the school and set up a meeting, usually with the principal. So that brief is usually like a one page, just very basic. And how do the school generate the brief? Because their needs, what they want, what they need. For example, oh, the school is about to start a cooking course and they don't have where to do the cooking course. And that's a very important thing for the school. So they come to us, to the people who works on the construction office. I don't work there anymore. They come to this person and say, the school is about to start a cooking course. We need like a lab, a space that's set up for the children to learn how to cook. And then this person receives a brief and come and talk to the school. And then usually it's like, oh, that initial conversation is really a high level conversation. So how many kids do you think will need to be on this space? What do you expect on this space? What do you want? What the school is willing to do? What type of cooking the school wanna do? Because it's really important to know all these details so you can understand what the school really needs. So then what happens is you go back to the office and you write a really deep brief. So on that brief that you write, that brief is going to go to architecture companies usually. And then they'll come back with offers and prices for the initial part of the project. That's the design and development. So that's how usually a project starts. And it's not just the government, it's anywhere. Because when you see a client, he already have a brief on their head. Usually, they like they start with a desire, a vision, something saying, "This is what I want to create. This is what I need. Why I need this space." Only after that come the drawing, then the design, then the pricing. So usually companies, when you're dealing with big companies, I worked for government, university, councils, you do all that front work and you start pricing the project, and then you come back with costs and present that to your manager, that will present that to the finance, and that's when the decision is going to be made. Do we have the budget to do this? Don't we? And then that's when things start happening. Is that really important? Most projects are really important, so they find the money to do the project. Then the decision about what could happen now and what could wait. For example, okay, the school really want a space for 90 kids, but for the first 2 years, they're going to have around 50. So what about with, because we don't have all the budget right now, let's do stage 1 and stage 2 construction. That's what happened. So you plan that construction according to what's going to happen. So it does not start with the budget. It starts with the intention, the need, the dream. Then you price everything, and then you start to organize a plan. So if we don't have the money to do this big, nice space, how can we provide a really good solution for the clients, but still in a way that we don't have to spend that much money right now? And that's when the conversation starts. And that's when you start navigating the project and finding solutions. So, for example, you're doing a kitchen renovation and you have the intention, you have the plan, you have exactly how you want to look like, and then comes the cost. And maybe you are not able to do everything up front, but maybe you're able to do all the structure, the cabinets, and change the appliances in 2 years' time. So that's stage 1 and stage 2. Yet, in our personal lives, we often reverse the order. We usually look at our bank account first and stop the dream, isn't it? So this year, I want you to start a bit different. And I'll give you a lot of examples here. But I want to talk about a program that a lot of people watched. So it's called Grand Designs. What Grand Designs show us? That's like an inspiration for us coming to 2026. If you ever watch the grand designs, you'll notice something really important. Those projects does not start with certainty. Usually are very complex projects and people are dreamers. So they start with an intention, then start with a dream that becomes an intention. They Most of the projects I watched, the fascinating thing for me was because they never started with the perfect finance. I'll tell you, in a real world, that doesn't exist. No matter if you're dealing with a small project that's like a little bathroom renovation, or if you're building a multi-million-dollar building. I'll tell you that. You always have to be creative and find solutions. I'm telling you that because I'm a project manager and I'm always the one that has to be finding these creative solutions managing construction. Every project begins with the intention. A family know exactly how they want to live, where they want to live, why they bought that piece of land, what's their vision. Most people want to live, I have a view, I maximize the construction of this house on the view. Other people want to live very sustainable, so they maximize the construction of the building into the sustainability, how they want to feel on that space. So a lot of people on grand designs, they go to places remote because they want to raise their children in nature. So they have a very clear intention. They have a very clear feeling on how they want to feel, what a kind of life they want to create in that space. From there, the process unfolds. So some of them has a designer, an architect. Some of them works with architect. Some of them don't. Some of them design the house themselves. They have the house so clear on their heads that they want to design and build themselves, and that's okay. But they have that clear intention of what they want, how they want to live, what they want to do. So that's the main thing to start that dream, that project. So after that, they design, they cost, and start the construction. And then they prioritize or they stage. Sometimes they have to pause, and that's okay. Most of the projects, though, in grand design gets finished. That's the main thing. So I love when he comes on the end. I know that sometimes they have to do some adjustments. Sometimes they can't do everything at once, but they've started because the intention was clear. And I love that question on the end when he say, "How was the budget? How was the finances?" And it's always over budget, but somehow that couple, that family, find the money. They always find the money. And in the end, they end up with these amazing places and they are extremely happy. And that's how it's 90% of the projects go. I know that some projects doesn't get finished. What I feel extremely disappointed. I want to go and somehow help, somehow have that person to finish. But 90% of the projects gets finished because the couple is so clear of their vision, their intention, what they want to do, how they're going to do, how we're going. Sometimes they don't even know the how. Sometimes they just start, and that's enough. And it happens. So, what about we begin this into our lives? Let's bring this closer to home. So, if you're dreaming about renovating a bathroom, building an outdoor area, buying a house, or updating your children's bedroom, the very first step is not the money. I'll tell you, you need clarity. The first step is to have clarity. What you want to do, why you want to do. Write the benefits that will bring for you, for your children. Or if you're doing a bathroom renovation, what you do want to do, why you want to do, and the benefits for the family. How you want to use that space. One thing that most people ignore, that's just one of the most important things in our homes, is how we move. How do you move on that space? And I designed my whole kitchen on that principle. And that's a principle that usually architects know. Do you know when they ask you a lot of questions and you answer and you don't even know why they're asking those questions? Yeah, it's because they want to understand how you move. So they're going to design according um, to your movements. And that's really important. So how you move, how you want to move. Because sometimes what happens is that in the beginning, when we had our old kitchen, we couldn't move. We didn't have the freedom to move on that space. It was like a little corridor. And my husband and I usually used to like cooking together. So one would be chopping the veggies and the other one would be cooking. And we were always bumping into each other. It was very stressful. We couldn't access the bin. We couldn't cook together to the point that one person was on the kitchen isolated. So then when we designed the kitchen, we designed it with that intention. Enough space for one person to be chopping, the other person to be on the stove, together, but different places. So we're not bumping into each other and we could still both access the beam without having to bump into each other. Do you know what I mean? So this is really important. How you move, what you want to do, the benefits it's going to bring to your family, clarity. What happens most of the time is that we freeze. We all freeze. I don't have the money in my bank account yet. We don't do anything. We don't move. We don't do anything. And that happens to me as well. There are lots of other things I want to do in my house. And because the budget's not yet there, I didn't move anything. And then I was like, why am I doing this? Just a little bit of movement might help to bring all the ideas or all the things. Okay. But here's the honest question I want to gentle ask you. Do you even know how much it will cost? We freeze before we know. Have you designed it, explored some options, asked different scenarios, looked at staging it over time? Most of us don't even know how much it's going to cost. Very often, we stop ourselves before we even allow the curiosity to get in. Do you know? I have always been a very serious person. Some of my friends would say I was an 8 years old, living a 15 years old body. It took me another 15 years to realize life can be more fun, and especially on the past year, I decided not to take life so serious and play a bit more. So what about you do the same? With your intention this year, just ask some questions around. You don't need to be too serious about it. Go and visit some really nice houses. Do it. Explore it. Talk to your husband. This is something that my husband and I did a lot, and it was fun. Just have some fun. Just go to some really nice display homes and feel it and see it. Talk about things you like, you don't like. I like this, I don't like that. This works, this doesn't work. And take pictures, take notes, go with a notebook, go with a tape measure. Don't be ashamed. People don't care what you're doing. Do you know what? When you go to these places, they are so focused on what they want, they don't even notice you, the other people they're looking. Go to houses for sale in your neighborhood or in the suburb you dream to live and just have a look. Start that curiosity, that fun, and start looking to the dream kitchen and talk to your husband. You don't even know if everything is going to work. I am an advocate that a design needs to be done by the family and by the couple. Children and the husband needs to be involved. I know that sometimes it's harder, but make something fun. Try to make it fun in a way that the whole family can collaborate and put input on it. Take some pictures, get the feeling of the house, the kitchen. Sometimes you like, oh, my dream kitchen is all white. Everything needs to be white. But then you go to a kitchen that's all white and you don't like it. That happens so much with clients, I'll tell you. Sometimes they have this vision on their head, but they never saw it. Or sometimes they're like, oh, I want everything to be white. And then some designers take them to a place to see before they even know the mood board. That's the right thing. And then they get to get the feeling to see if they're going to like or not. And they hate it. So there is a project I've done. It's like an office space. It's one of my favorite projects. It was really fun to do. And my clients were the head of school of one of the faculties at the university. And they were very lost. They were really lost. They didn't know where to start, where to begin, what to do. And lucky enough, one of my colleagues had just delivered a really nice office space. Really nice. And what I've done was like, what, because I felt on the first meeting, what about our second meeting? Because I felt the first meeting, they're so lost. We go to this space at the university and we have a feel of it. And it was a lot of fun. The architects came, the architects that were going to design, the clients. And I just said, just walk around, have a feel, tell us, me and the architects, what you like and what you don't like. Colors you like, what you don't like, what you think is going to work on a space, and was fantastic. That one visit did clarify the whole project. After that, they knew exactly what they wanted, what worked, what didn't work. The first design the architects did, they loved it. And when we built the space, was exactly like how they wanted. Was a beautiful space, and they loved the space so much. So sometimes it's just about seeing something that's already there and having the feeling and taking notes. What do I like? What do I don't like? This is really cool. I never thought about this. I thought this would be interesting, but actually it does not work. So this is really important. Why intention changes everything. When intention becomes clear, something very gentle begins to happen inside of us. Our nervous system starts soften. The fear that was loud starts to lower its voice. You know exactly what you want. Sometimes you don't know how you're going to get there, but some my little actions help you feel a bit more comfortable. Do you know? The overwhelm, that feeling of it's too much, slowly quiets down. And not because you suddenly have all the answers, but because your body and mind finally understand why you're moving forward. Research in psychology shows when our intention is clear, when we can name what we want and why it matters for us. So the why is very important. Last year, I read a really good book. It's called Worthy, and she focused a lot about the why. So this is my intention and why I want this. The why is really, really important. The brain shifts out of threat mode and into problem solving mode. This is why clarity feels calming. It tells your system, I'm safe to move forward. From that place, new possibilities start coming up. So another thing I discovered last year, I've been studying a lot about this, and it's that our brain is filtering millions and millions of information all the time. And what happens is it's filtering based in our beliefs. So sometimes you want to do this, but your brain is filtering everything else and you don't see the opportunities. But from that place of clarity, intention, and doing little steps towards what you want, your brain starts to understand, oh, that's very important for her. So some opportunities start to appear, new possibilities, things that you never thought about. It's like, what? What's going on here? I never thought about that. You might realize you don't need to do everything at once. You can stage the project. You can start smaller than you imagine. You can save with purpose, no pressure. You can make decisions that truly align with your values and your why instead of reaching from fear. And this is the most important part. Intention doesn't force action. It doesn't rush you. It doesn't demand perfection. Intentions just invites the clarity in. So this is the beauty about neuroscience is that our brain is working to keep us safe and it's working based on all the storage you have in your head. And sometimes it's a little nudge for you to start seeing possibilities, other things out there, new things out there. This is how emotionally nurturing, supportive homes come to life. It's not about rushing. I tell my clients a lot that "Hey, I bought a house. I want to renovate straight away. I just want everything new, blah, blah, blah. And then I just come and have a chat with them and say, hey, are you sure you want to renovate straight away without having the feeling of the space, understanding the house, how you're going to work on that space? I know it's good to just move in and everything's ready for you. But sometimes it's not the best because you don't know how your family is going to set up on that space. And I have a friend that did that. So on the beginning, they bought an older house, a beautiful house, was completely livable. There was nothing wrong, but a bit outdated. Who never? Because my house was like that and needed a bit of love. But they said, oh, we want to renovate. I was like, live on the house for 6 months, just 6 months, just to feel the house, to see what you really need to do the research with a bit more time, to find a good builder. And they did. And he told me that was the best advice we could ever get because there are so many things that I thought would be good for the house, be good for my family, and wasn't important. We found what was really important. And sometimes what people keep telling me is like, oh, but I'm not going to stay that on that house forever. I'm going to move in 10 years' time. So I need to think about buyers, about what buyers want. Okay, just take a breath and I'll tell you something. probably the next buyers will be people like you, a normal person with a family. Unless you paint the walls like purple, if you keep like a really nice, calming, relaxing, beautiful color palette with a lot of texture, wood, anyone would buy that house and would love that house. When you increase natural light, when you work with textures, I know some people has a particular taste. That's nothing wrong with that. The house is yours, but then it'll make a bit harder. But if it's just paint, when you're ready to paint to sell the house in 9 years' time, you of course you have to do a little bit of paint anyway. So you can change those crazy colors to something more suitable for the buyers. But the rest is usually not that hard to choose color palettes that will suit most people. So creating a healing home is not through rushing, not through perfection, but through presence. Whether it's a full renovation or a single room, the process is the same. It starts with intention. How you feel on that space, how you want to feel, what problems you want to solve, what you want to achieve, and why. Then let the steps unfold. Before we go, I want to leave you with 3 simple actions you can take right now, not to rush the project you've been holding for years, but to finally allow a little bit of movement. I think I talked about so many things here you can already take in action, but I like giving you some real simple steps. Okay, first action, write the intention, not a plan. Just write an intentional sentence. I intend to renovate the kitchen this year because. Why? I'll give you another example. I intend to renovate our kitchen so it feels open and connected, allowing me to cook while truly being present with my family and welcoming others into our home. So that's a really strong sentence because my why is very clear. I intend to renovate our bathroom so it becomes a sanctuary, a place where I can slow down, relax, and restore myself after a long day. I intend to build an outdoor pizza oven because I love bringing people together around homemade food and creating sharing moments at home. This sentence is not about the project itself. It's about the life you're choosing to create. And when your doubt appears, you return to this intention because becomes your anchor point. Okay, next one. You can do today. Allow yourself to explore without any commitments. You don't need to justify to anyone. Explore is not spending money. Designing is not commitment. Pricing is not promise. So, for example, you can just go to places that have nice bathrooms, kitchens, have a look in materials, have a look on tiles, anything that makes you feel good. Designing can be something as simple as picking up a square sheet, measuring the space you want, like, for example, 1 square is 1 meter, or 2 squares is 1 meter. Do a little rectangle and just start organizing things. Oh, the oven is here. I want to shift it here. I want to maximize this view. I want a more natural light, and write outside the plan. Not just draw, just write your ideas as well. And take that with you wherever you go. Getting a cost. I feel like that as well. Someone is coming here giving me a cost. But hey, we need to know how much things cost, isn't it? Sketch. Sketches, like I said, just do a little mock-up drawing, very basic, and save inspiration. Look at face the options. You're not saying yes. You're not saying you're doing right this moment, but you're opening for opportunities, for clarity. You're going and doing some little actions to fulfill your dream. My last thing for today, take one small step, not the whole project, just one step. A conversation, a measurement, a consultation, a mood board. When I say a mood board, people get confused with mood board and Pinterest. I love Pinterest, I'll tell you that. But Pinterest is not a mood board. You saving millions of pictures of what you want is not a mood board. So mood board is, for example, starting to organize the ideas of how you want to do the space. Not going to talk about mood board today. I can record podcast on mood board, but printing those pictures from Pinterest, starting to get texture, starting to get colors, see if things match together, goes well together. I can explain it better next time. Momentum comes from movement, not from having everything figured out. So, before we finish, I want to share something very close to my heart. When we lead with intention, not force, not urgent, curiosity starts to open. And when curiosity is present, things start to flow. Ideas appear, options become visible, the changes we've been longing for no longer feel heavy or impossible. This is something I see again and again and again in my work as a designer. And how many times did your boss just told you, what about we just explore this option? It's no problem to explore. It's just like, yes, sometimes there is a brief that come to you at work or something. It might not happen, but your manager say, start looking into it. Let's just explore and see if it can happen. And I'll tell you something. Most of the times that happen, the curiosity started. I started investigating a possibility, an intention. The project ended up happening. I'll tell you that. Our homes are not meant to be frozen in time. They are living spaces. They change as we change. They evolve as our family grows, as our seasons shift, as our needs soft or expand. One of the biggest mistakes I see is trying to make a home static. Never change. You can't change. Design your home as it is if life still stay design designing the homes, but that's not how homes work. And it's not how we work either. Life changes, things change. Our homes are made to respond to us. This is why I created the intention cards as well. So it's my little project that I love. I created those cards that we read an intention for the home every day. So start the day in a positive way. They're like a daily ritual. It's working so well here. I'm loving it. A moment to pause, choose a card, set an intention to the home. When you read it out loud, it's almost like inviting the space to listen, to sing that intention back to you throughout the day. And if you're having a bad day, you go back to that morning intention and just remind yourself. It might be about calm or presence or connection or rest. Small moments like this gentle shift how we relate to our space. And this philosophy is at the heart of my book too. It's an invitation to see your home not as something that needs to be finished, but as something that grows with you. Support your nervous system, your children, and the life you're living right now. Thank you for being here. Thank you for choosing to let your home evolve with you. Until next time, take care of yourself and take care of your home. Thank you. Bye.